everybody, welcome back again today for my last video of the day. This is welcome back to Blind Woman Recommends. This is part 2 of a recommendations list for One Last Stop. Released my first part of recommendations an hour ago. So if you haven't watched it, I'll link it below, and I'll also link the review that accompanied this for the book. I have nothing but praise for One Last Stop, so I'll be linking the review, and I'll also be linking the recommendations video, the first part of the recommendations video. So if you're interested in that. And in this one, we are going to see I'm going to be recommending things that you can watch after this, because I usually always have something to watch most of the time. So without further ado, let us begin with the watch list. The first thing on the watch list that I have here is Best Friends Whenever. Best Friends Whenever is a Disney series that only has like 2 seasons because they canceled it. Yay. But it has 2 seasons. They're really good. So Best Friends Whenever is about 2 friends who well, there are 4 friends, but like these 2 friends are the ones that gain the ability to time travel. But basically, due to something that happens in their friend Barry's lab, Shelby and Sydney, best friends and also living together because for and everything, they end up gaining the ability to time travel by touching. And we follow them on their adventures, and both seasons have a main big plot, but also we also have them going through separate episodes where they kind of have their own little adventures with time travel. And the way that they start off using it recklessly, but they get more responsible. A lot of things happen. It's very, very interesting. I like this concept of time travel, definitely. I think Disney should have continued for at least one more season, because that was not a proper ending, I feel, for Best Friends Whenever. But they stopped it, I'm assuming because of views and ratings or whatever. But I don't think that was a proper ending, so I would have loved for them to continue with a with a what am I saying? With a 3rd season at least. If they make it 4, that's even better. But if they would have continued, I think it would have been a great, an interesting show to see what would happen. I mean, it was a great show from the beginning, but I would have loved to see what would have happened if they would have continued. It has time travel, awesome friends, and great comedy too. The next one I'm recommending is Dragon Ball. I'm recommending the franchise because although the main parts of time travel are in Z and Super, there are some other things I would recommend for this for. So we follow, again, we kind of know what Dragon Ball is about. I've recommended in a couple of these things, but I recommend it knowing that I think it fits the list. So Dragon Ball, we follow Goku, who ends up meeting Bulma, and he is through an almost car crash. Well, actually, through a car crash, really. She almost killed him. And they end up going on an adventure to find the 7 Dragon Balls, 7 orbs that can basically grant you pretty much any wish once a dragon is summoned. So we follow his adventures from the original, and then we follow him to Dragon Ball Z, where he's an adult. We follow him also to GT, which is technically not canon, but whatever. And of course, Dragon Ball Super, which takes place a little bit after the ending of Dragon Ball Z. So I guess if GT ever becomes canon, the best way to watch it would technically be, I think, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball GT. But I think maybe forms of GT will become canon at some point. Maybe there are some things that they can pick up from Dragon Ball GT. Maybe. But I do not. I know that the series as of now is not canon, even though it just it takes place 10 years after the events of Dragon Ball Z. So it happens. I don't know how they, if they ever plan to redo GT, but I do know that as of now it's not canon. But basically, we do follow we follow him in that, and there is time travel involved in Dragon Ball Z uh, with the android arc with Trunks, with Future Trunks, and there's also in Dragon Ball Super with the Future Trunks arc, which has time travel. There's also something I like is that they have definitely in Dragon Ball is magic. Magic is definitely a factor, a big, not a big thing, but like it's something that comes up in Dragon Ball once in a while, and especially in the original, it comes up a little bit more. But there is definitely a magic factor. Um, Also very sci-fi, and I like in Dragon Ball Z and Super, which I like. And also my favorite part I think has to be in Super, where we find out there's an entire multiverse, which is amazing. So it's like, yay, awesome. So yeah, that's why I would recommend it. The next series I have is Yu-Gi-Oh! I recommend it for the magic. I explained Yu-Gi-Oh! In the last thing, but I recommended it for miniseries, and I have not stopped talking about this. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Follows our main character Yugi, who ends up dueling the world champion in Duel Monsters, and he ends up winning, and that captures the interest of Pegasus, who ends up forcing Yugi into a shadow game, which is the way they used to do Duel Monsters before, and it was like a 15-minute duel in the Shadow Realm. And but Yugi loses, and Pegasus takes his grandfather's soul, and he is forced to enter the Duelist Kingdom tournament in order to win his grandfather's soul back. It's kind of what the beginning of the story is, and what we follow him through his different adventures in the series, as well as like we see the magic come back into the real world the way it is, and the magic is interesting. I like the magic with the 7 items, and I think it's an interesting concept, and I enjoyed it. I also especially like the fact that it's kind that the okay that the conflicts are basically solved by a card game, a trading card game, and I like that specific thing about it a lot. The next series on my list is The Rising of the Shield Hero. We follow our main character, Naofumi, who everything kind of starts with when he's in the library looking for something to read, and he ends up getting transported to a different world when he finds this book that talks about 4 heroes that are supposed to save it, but he sees nothing on the 4th hero, and he was trying to read, and then he gets transferred along with 3 others in a similar age range. They're between 16 and 21, all of them, and they're told who each of them are, and they are given, hero status, and they are told that they need to save this world from the waves, so that their world doesn't get destroyed. And however, Naofumi gets accused of a crime he did not commit, and all his privileges get taken away, and we watch his dynamic shift, and we watch how he becomes, and everything he tries to do to end up advancing, keeping himself alive and everything. I mainly recommend this for 2 reasons. 1, the magic, and 2, its otherworldliness. This world works like a video game, so the things you do can work to level you up, which I think is cool. And I love it so much. I think it's a wonderful thing. I think it's cool. So I can appreciate that in all times. I appreciate that so much, and I love it. I also love the how interesting it becomes. The next series is Fruits Basket. It doesn't really matter which one you watch. There's a reboot and then there's the original 2001 version. But basically, we follow Toru, who originally starts out camping because in the house, her parents, not her parents, sorry, her grandfather is basically like doing renovations, and she ends up deciding to leave for a while just to not cause any bother and everything. Eventually, she ends up moving into the Soma family house, and she finds out that they're all cursed to. They're cursed in a way that if they're hugged by the opposite sex, they transform into one of the Chinese zodiac animals, and um, basically she ends up keeping their secret, and we follow her as she gets to know the Soma family, as they get to know her, and as they end up changing, each other's lives and form such awesome friendships, and it's so adorable. There's also a bit of a cute little love triangle. It's in the romance is adorably cute. It's cute. It's so cute. It's everything. It's everything. It's everything. They also have an interesting family dynamic where they're not always that close. Some of them are distant from each other for one reason or another. So it's something that I think is a lovely thing to watch. I think they handle it well, the family dynamic, the curse, and being stuck in it for a while, for a little bit. It's also a bit of it's also kind of there's a little bit of like a love triangle again, so it's kind of adorable, and I especially love the magic of the curse, which is interesting. The next one I recommend is another classic anime, Ouran High School Host Club. We follow Haruhi, who is trying to find a quiet place to study, because apparently in 4 library rooms, it's not quiet. None of them are quiet. So she finds this abandoned music room, and when she walks in, she ends up meeting the 5 members of the host club: Tamaki, Mori, Honey, Kyoya, and well, actually there are 6 really. 6 members. I'm sorry, the 6 members of the host club, and then the twins Kaoru and Hikaru. So they meet, and she accidentally breaks a very expensive vase and ends up having to work for them in order to pay her debt. And here we watch as they all become friends, find out more about each other, and help each other out as well as changing each other. I think they have beautiful friendship, and there is a bit of romance and class related issues, and they explore them. They like mention they are these themes, but they don't like hit you over the head with them, which is like wonderful. I think it's definitely something that I think that is really good about that, because they don't hit you over the head with with the details. They do their best to to give you an idea of what this stuff is, and what's happening, but they don't get you over the head with all that stuff. So I like that. It's a hopeful series. It's I think it's really good for all intents and purposes. So I think it works out for what it is, and I think it did well. It does very well. So yeah. Let's see. So the last 2 things I want to recommend today are actually a series, and I guess you can say a bunch of movies in a way. And I'm only going to describe those movies in one sentiment, because they they work, that way synonymously because they're part of the same universe. So the next thing I want to recommend is an anime, Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. I've been watching that anime, and now I'm gonna link the playlist of my reactions because I've definitely been watching this anime and have found it highly, highly, highly engaging. And I think it's awesome that it's something that I'm really, really, really happy with watching. It's funny. It's a funny anime with an interesting plot, and it's fun to watch just because it just works out. So basically, the demon realm kidnaps the princess from the human realm, and they end up capturing her, and she ends up staying in the demon palace. The human realm and the demon realm are all at war for this princess, and all this girl wants is a good night's sleep. I can relate. I can relate to her wishes of sleep, and I think that she is not wrong to wish for sleep. So, good job, girl. Get your sleeping. That's always important. Get your sleeping. So I've been enjoying watching this. I recommend it for the magic that sometimes shows up in the series, and also for this otherworldly thing because we're mainly in the demon world in this series, and I think it's a very good in an interesting environment to be in. And although I do wish there was more world building, I think it'd be great to it's still fun, and you don't have to worry about trying to keep up with a plot because although that's the main plot, all the episodes have different objectives, so it's really easy to watch. It's 12 episodes. I haven't finished watching them because I'm watching it slowly for reaction purposes. So you can basically end up watching everything in one day if you really wanted to, and stuff like that. I recommend it mainly for the magic. And then the last thing I want to recommend are the Marvel movies. Yes, the Marvel movies, for their magic, sci-fi-ish, and time travel based stuff. I originally just wanted to recommend Endgame for Avengers Endgame, but I think that to watch that you should definitely watch all the Marvel movies. So I would recommend the MCU. I'd recommend the Marvel movies. Some of them have magic, some of them it's just kind of like sci-fi. So it's a whole range of things, and I think it's really interesting to um to watch. And those are the main things I wanted to recommend. And but one thing is occurring to me that is that although I recommend these movies, I have not finished Endgame yet. as of the time of recording, I have not finished Endgame. I started watching it some time ago and haven't gone back to it, and I really need to go back to it because I want to finish it so that I can watch WandaVision. But so yeah, those are the main series I recommend, or the main series slash a bunch of movies that I recommend that you watch after one last stop. So I hope you guys I hope you enjoyed this part 2. Have you watched any of the things I'm recommending? How did you like them? Let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when I upload a video. I upload at least once a week on Mondays. Honestly, I'm about to take this Monday and start calling it Bookish Monday because I post all my book stuff mainly on Mondays. I know that previously I would post my recommendations and stuff like the day after or days, depending on how many parts. But I am starting to just post it all on Monday. So I'm about to start calling Monday Bookish Monday because that's my that's when I'm posting a bunch of my bookish related stuff, and then the rest of the days I'm basically like using to do the whatever anything else I might want to post, like reactions. So I'm gonna start calling Monday Bookish Monday. So yeah. um Anyway, if you have any video requests or suggestions, feel free to comment down below or message me privately. Appropriate, please. Any inappropriate messages or questions will be ignored. But I am always happy to see your suggestions and your feedback, as well as your uh, video requests. So let me know all of that. And I will see you next week, if not earlier. I'm not sure if I'll see you earlier, but I'll try to see you earlier. But if I don't, I'll see you next week, where I will be reviewing Artificial Condition by Martha Wells. This is the second book in the Murderbot Diaries series. So I'll be reviewing that. I'm super excited to review that. And with that, I'll see you later, and thank you for watching 3 videos from me back to back. Bye!